We're back.
We're back. Guess who's back? Back again. Got COVID twice. Mike's my friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Doing an
Guess
old school
who's back?
dab.
Oh shit, dude. Damn. Old school rig. No electronics. You doing it with the heat and everything? Blowtorch? Oh, sizzle, sizzle.
Mine nizzle.
Cheers. And listen, I remember we were texting and you said that you couldn't smoke anything for.
Oh no, I was in bed. That was disgusting. I remember why I don't do those anymore. I think it was too hot. Well, I usually use I have the thermometer, the temperature.
Yeah, you're supposed to gauge it. Yeah.
I just want to do it for the show. That's disgusting. I burned it. I burned the live rosin. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Dude, the same thing happens to me when I'm like, I want to do like a water bong hit. You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, there's still some left in the bowl. And then you take that last hit after it sat there and you're like, I regret doing that because of how nasty that shit tastes.
Yeah. Shouldn't have did that. Yeah.
There's got to be a degree, right? Like a relit blunt, right, is on a lower scale, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what tastes pretty?
Like hash. Not like hash. Smells like ash. Ash.
Like
ash.
Ash. Yeah. And then you have like hot pen, like too hot of a pen of pen oil.
Yes.
Not dab oil, but pen oil. That has its own sort of
smell.
Crack plasticky
yes.
Plasticky kind of smell.
Best way to describe it. Crack plasticky.
Yeah. The only thing that you can sort of relight that doesn't taste like total garbage is like a joint. Like a joint doesn't taste like total shit.
You know what I noticed too? It depends on how you put it out to begin with.
A light ashing, just scraping it, and it doesn't taste like shit.
Like if you're smoking a blunt, no matter what, it's going to be trash when you go to relight it. But if you put that blunt out using water, like you dipped it in the tip in a little bit of water, it's going to be even worse. It just gets absorbed. And
it traps it in. It sort of makes, and that's what motherfuckers used to do. I used to get pissed. You'd be smoking a blunt out in the rain, right? And you'd be like, all right, let's go. We're going to clip this. And somebody would just like sizzle it onto him. Like, oh, dude, number one, it's going to take forever to light it. Like when you guys go out to blaze like a half hour, 45 minutes later. And like, yeah, like you just, the key to ashing a blunt or a joint properly to dead it is just to scrape it lightly.
Gently, yep, exactly.
Gently, because then what happens is when you relight that shit, it's like fresh paper. It's not like tainted with fucking water. I used to hate that people, and it was nasty. It was already enough that your homeboy had to fucking give a Dutch master a blowjob just to start it up.
Just to start, yeah.
Just to start it up. Like your homie had to deep throat a fucking blunt to loosen it up and then had to lick it all. And then the motherfucker is like, I'm going to put it out, and goes like this. Look, like that. And then a string is spitting and it's like,
I hate that.
No, not because it's nasty. Well, because it's nasty. You don't realize how many germs we were spreading back in the day with that shit, but we had strong immune systems. That's why you survived COVID again. But honestly, it was like, because it makes it taste like shit when you relight it. And that was like the main fucking reason.
You know what? This is a funny story. I'm at a kid's house. I'm not going to name names. I don't actually chill with these kids anymore. They, I think they all moved on with their lives, moved out of the hood, as they say. But the kid was like, "Oh, let's smoke a blunt." I'm like, "Okay, let's put our money together, get a Dutch, get a bag, whatever." And at that point, it probably was a dime bag, but it was quite a lot for a dime bag because it was red.
You should be gram, yeah.
So 10 at the store to buy the blunts, he buys a bag of Cheetos. We get to the house, and now he eats the Cheetos. And he goes, all right, pass me the L. Let me roll the L. I'm like, you ain't touching that. He goes, what do you mean? I was like, you are not rolling a blunt. He goes, oh, I'll wash my hands. It's in your mouth. It's on your tongue. It's up in your shit. You are not licking that blunt, bro. He got all offended. Yeah. He got all offended. I think Marcel and like Peter were there. And they were like, nah, bro, you ain't rolling that blunt. He's like, why? I'm like, dude, you're not rolling that blunt.
Dude, you know what that like
I lost your audio.
Oh, am I here? Am I back?
I can't hear you. I see your lips moving.
Can you hear me? Back? Am I back?
Still can't hear you.
Damn, what the fuck
is can you guys hear him? Can anybody hear me?
Can you hear me?
Anyone hear him?
I can hear myself.
I can't hear you.
All right,
I don't. This is
let me back out
okay.
and
So
jump back in.
Hiddleston can hear you, so they can
Oh,
hear you. Very weird.
well, everybody else can hear me. Now I'm by myself. Now I'm with Mike again.
I
going on
can't
over
hear
there?
you, but everyone else can hear you. Thank you,
The
StreamYards.
host has
Thank you,
unmuted your
StreamYard.
mic. The host has unmuted my mic. That's what it said in the corner there. Well, there. The corner there on my screen said that my mic was unmuted. But now I'm by myself. This is like podcast purgatory. I didn't sign up to do a solo rant podcast. I didn't have a rant lined up. I'm not even really angry about anything to rant about anything. I'm usually pissed off about something on the DL and I'll crack a joke about it just to really like break the tension. But I'm chilling. To find something to be pissed off about. We had a whole bunch of shit lined up on the podcast to talk about. Not really pissed, but just a lot of weird shit. Just enough of.
You know what's weird?
Can you hear me now?
Weird? I still can't hear you, but here's what's weird. I can't hear anything now. Like, I don't know if the headphones are going bad or something's going bad, but I can't hear other videos either. Like, if I play things in the background. Hold on. Unplug this.
Maybe it is your headphones. Maybe it
still can't hear it. My
your headphones.
That's so weird.
Do you think somebody hacked your shit?
What is going
maybe?
on with my computer?
Everything else is functioning properly, Mike.
Let me see.
I'm talking to Mike. Everybody, I'm talking to Mike.
The headphones
like,
are wired.
As if he
They're
can
not
hear me.
Wireless. So sound.
Because this happens from time to time. Usually
Weird.
Backing out and going back in. This should be
sound is on.
The technical difficulty portion of the show.
Weird. What the fuck is going on, man?
I think somebody hacked into your shit. And
you can hear me?
I can hear you perfectly fine. Yes, 100%. I could hear you. I can hear you. I can't hear you out there in the internet land. I could probably see your comments as they come up on the bottom of the screen. But like I was saying, we should have a technical difficulty portion of this. And it should be the first 10 minutes because there always seems to be some bullshit going on in the first 10 minutes of our podcast. Some people want to blame it on StreamYard and maybe we should use a different streaming service. Some people, and when I mean some people, I mean me and Mike, think that it could just be faulty hardware, maybe. I hope he has another pair of headphones because I don't know how much longer I could just keep talking and talking and talking. I haven't seen any comments down there. I might just be in internet limbo just all by myself. You all could be commenting, but Mike has control of that. So I can't even see what the fuck you're commenting. So somebody could be making fun of me right now. I have no fucking idea. I'm just like literally a man talking to himself about nothing. Wow. Now, if all I had was myself to talk to, what the fuck would I say? I mean, not inner monologue shit. I mean, like you having a conversation with yourself, not like conscience or whatever, or the devil and the angel kind of shit. I mean, like I sit down and then I talk to myself. Maybe over a couple of drinks, maybe over coffee. What the fuck would I say? Would I compliment myself? I don't know. Would you compliment yourself? I feel like most people wouldn't. Most people would probably, like, if they were able to confront themselves head on, might opt out more for critiquing. Because everybody says, like, oh, if I know now, if I knew then what I know now, you know what I mean? And you'd probably be like, also a little stroke of having a little bit more balls because of the comfort level that you would have with yourself, that you would just say something or blurt out something or hypercritical. Or maybe that's just me thinking that because I just maybe happen to have some sort of idle anxiety. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think? What would you do? What would you say to yourself? Would you crack a joke? Would you? Would you masturbate yourself in third person? Like, as in you jerking yourself or fingering yourself off to completion, to complete orgasm. Like, you just, is because it's not when you do it yourself here by yourself, it's not incestuous. But is it incestuous if it's like not a clone? Well, even if it is a clone. Well, actually, if you fucked your clone, does that make you both gay and incestuous? Like, what if no, I mean, and everybody has to know. Like, you can't keep this. This is no dying secret shit. This is literally you acting out fucking yourself. Like, you going and fucking yourself. Like, in literal speak.
What the fuck did I just walk into?
Have you been listening to me for the last?
Yes, I fixed
minutes?
it. I reset my computer and the problem has been solved. But then I lost all the tabs I had open for all the things we were going to show. So I have to redo that as well.
Well, I mean, what I did was I just sort of just started from a blank piece of paper and just let my mind roll for a couple of minutes. I can't see if anybody was commenting. I can't see anything. I mean, I think I stated that at the beginning of that little bit of my
So they
solo.
wrote this, this, this,
Self-test.
this,
Wow, all caps too. Nice.
and this. All right. So we're
all right. So now that we're back on, the ship is sailing, right, Mike? Are we a go?
We're back. We are back.
We're a go.
It's official. The writer's strike is officially over, but the actors are still striking.
It's just the writers who have a deal now, right? Because
Yes.
Because I misunderstood the original bulletin.
So it's great. So that means the writers can start writing, so they can start progressing to working on the shows now and writing the shows. Then they have to get the actors in with the deal to get them to start acting on the shows. Then we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it ends very soon.
Yeah, but your end of the industry is still left idle, waiting.
Well, I mean, we can, if they're working on some shows and the studios can get ready. So you can start building out the stages. So building the sets and whatnot, and then lighting the sets. So some people are working already.
Oh, so wait, Hiddleston said they're scabbing. They're scabbing out there.
No, it's not, because the actors, it's very different. So
was it Drew Barrymore scabbing? I heard she was scabbing.
So was Bill Maher.
Bill Maher was scabbing?
He was going to start his show again on HBO without the writers, and then they basically called him a bitch for doing that, so he didn't do it.
So in that instance, right now, would he himself not be the writer?
Who?
Like he'd be writing his own material then, because he would not be relying on a staff of writers who are striking.
But he's probably in the WGA some way or another.
He has to have some sort of card. Yeah, not a SAG card because he doesn't act, but he's got to have some sort of writers, right? Like a lot of those comedians get writers.
Of course. Well, there are writers on Bill. The monologue isn't written by him. He's
right. There's a staff. There's 12 people sitting at a round table, all throwing jokes at each other. I watched that. There was like a Tonight Show. Like you know that there was a documentary about the late night wars, like between Letterman and Leno
there
from
was.
the 90s. And it was legit. There was beef between the late night show hosts, right? Now they're all trying to stay relevant, not even trying to compete with each other. They're all just trying to keep their jobs because podcasts took that over. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no one really watches it anymore. I mean, people still watch it, but it's not like the numbers that it used to be.
Listen, when you get like Roseanne Barr getting Candace Owens on her show, when you get like people like, you know what I mean? Like random comedians getting like notable fucking guests. Like RFK was on fucking the Tiger Belly podcast, Bobby Lee and Kalila's podcast.
Yeah, he was also on Tim Dillon, and I was just like, what?
That was good. There was like a blackout in the middle of the podcast. That was fucked up.
Start over.
But I'm just saying, like who the fuck needs like the Tonight Show or like late night? Who the fuck needs that shit?
I mean, they have. I guess they still have their part to play in the system of the world somehow. I mean, people still watch it. You gotta. I was gonna say old people watch it, but what old person is awake that late? Are there any old people awake that late?
That's what I'm saying. Well, you want to know something? The old people down here in South Florida, they party hard, so they're up late.
Yeah, definitely.
For them's like 12:30 at night. Like they definitely, like they eat dinner at a regular hour because they're party animals. Like so, they eat dinner at 6 o'clock at a regular hour. So. We've missed a lot in the last week and a half, correct?
All right. So we'll start off with, let me see.
The most relevancy.
Let me see.
To the thumbnail.
Well, I don't know if it's no. It's not really the relevancy to the thumbnail. It's very, very different.
Oh! Okay, well, are we going that route? Because I got a lot of fucking opinions about this shit.
So. Oh, apparently, see, I didn't even know this happened, Ryan. And apparently, the Canadian Parliament had a standing
ovation.
I'm just watching the video. Sorry, it just caught my eye, and I'm just watching these knuckleheads, and they're all white, most of them, right? They're all. Oh no, I see a couple of non-whites, maybe.
This guy hasn't seen this much of reaction for him since the Nuremberg rallies.
So what happened?
What was that Nazi rally where fucking Hitler's like, and he's like yelling?
You just sounded just like that. So, Canadians' House of Commons gave a rousing standing ovation to a Ukrainian veteran who fought in the Second World War, unaware he had served as a Nazi SS unit. Okay.
The unit was a Ukrainian subunit that was recruited by the Nazis when they invaded the Ukraine. So these were the people who were like pretty much giving up their Jewish neighbors and shit like that. You know what I mean? And then being like, I'll sign on if you don't kill my family.
I want to say something.
Not defending.
I was arguing with someone on Facebook, as I normally do, and they were saying how, we must support Ukraine because Ukraine cannot fall. And I said, oh, so you support Nazis? Just to mess with him. And he's like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. There's no evidence of Nazis ever being there. And I go, whoa, here's an article from CNN. Here's an article from like Newsday and all these people from a very long time ago, 2013, where there was actual Nazi training camps there. What the fuck are you talking about?
What they were sects of like sections
white
of
supremacist groups.
That had their own regiment in the military. So they had army like battalions that were recruited based on their ideology, and most of it being like white supremacy, like anti-Semitic, and they allowed this, right, because the Ukraine needed a military. The thing is, Ukraine is a very big country, and there's a lot of different ethnic groups that live there, and there happens to be a large Nazi sympathizing white population that lives there that still holds on to some of those ideals.
The guy they saluted, the guy they applauded, was a grenader. It's not like he was a recruiter or someone who didn't see battle. He was a fucking grenader. He was
blowing people up. He was in charge of ordnance. You know what I mean? So, like he was blowing people up. I mean, like, listen, this is the thing. They vetted him. This is my fucking problem, right? I'm sure Justin Trudeau was like, who's going to notice? No one even knows about World War II. Well, buddy, there's a whole, listen, like the Shane Gillis special, like history buff, being a history buff is the gateway to like republicanism. You know what I mean? It really is like the beginning. It's early onset republicanism, I think, as he said, it was the joke. And the thing is, it's like, I'm not like saying that I'm fucking red pilled or whatever, or I'm Republican, but what I'm saying is like, you can smell a stinking lying liberal. You know what I mean? From a mile away. And this is the kind of fuckery that I'm talking about, where they're like, well, we ideologically have to back Ukraine for political reasons, not really for moral reasons. It's not for moral reasons. It's not because we're worried about the Ukrainian people being annihilated off the face of the earth. What's going to happen is like Russia will go in and take over and then do what they did 100 years ago and make them learn Russian in school and stuff. And it's not going to be cool.
They already speak Russian in Ukraine.
They did. They didn't originally 100 years ago. Like they spoke Ukrainian,
Yeah,
and then.
but who cares about 100 years ago?
Just saying, quick history.
I don't care. Hold on, Ryan. Give Russia Ukraine. Hell, give Russia Poland when you're at it too. No one cares about Poland. I don't care.
But I'm saying most people. I'm getting to that, Mike. No, I'm getting to that. What I'm saying is. Now, with all that being said, what does it really affect us? Okay, they say, oh, grain, this, that, the other. It doesn't affect us as far as that goes, as the commodities go, because we really don't get much from them. We get military positioning. So that's why they're so staunch on fucking backing them. But if Ukraine really did become part of Russia tomorrow, would it affect us? No. Okay. And you want to know something? You know what didn't affect us, but we decided to go to war or conflict because it actually isn't classified by the world is being recognized as a war. The Vietnam conflict, right, was never going to affect us. If South Vietnam turned communist day one, nothing would have happened to us. Not a goddamn thing. We would have been tens of thousands of troops like plus on our side that would have retired as soldiers. And the thing is, it's all just to stay in the game of war. We don't want to go head on like war with Russia, but we definitely want to fucking tease them. And they want to fucking bully and tease everybody else too. They want to bully people around them and be like, look, America, what are you going to do? Noogie, Ukraine. Noogie, what? America, you going to stop this? Are you going to stop this? And America's like, hey, we don't like noogies. And you know what? We're going to put a noogie patrol next to you because you give out noogies.
So I don't know the history from the recent history. From what
I mean, like 10,000 dead from rocket attacks and shit like that. That's what I mean.
So hear this. That's funny. So if Russia was to take over Ukraine, right? It defeats the purpose, or it defeats the reasoning behind Putin's attack on Ukraine to begin with, because he's worried about Ukraine becoming a NATO country and he doesn't want NATO in his backyard. He doesn't want NATO bordering him. Well,
he doesn't want NATO nuclear silos miles from his border.
Well, if he takes over Ukraine, if he takes over Ukraine, Poland's a NATO country. then he has NATO right against his country. Romania is a NATO country. Slovakia is a NATO country. So then he takes over Ukraine. He's now bordering 3 NATO countries.
Yeah.
It defeats the purpose. And now our weapons are closer to him in Ukraine.
But I always thought he had no intent on actually absorbing the sovereignty of the Ukraine. I don't think he intends. I didn't think he intends on bullying to the point where he's like, I will give you a puppet state. Just remember, I live next door, and you're going to give me all of your grain exports. And that's the deal. And we're going to have like over abundance of military occupation by the borders, and we're taking territories. But you can have the rest. And that's what I think Russia wants to do. I don't think Russia wants to take the Ukraine over outright. I think what they want to do is obviously, and they've accomplished that. They took Crimea. They took other sections that they got pushed out of, but are trying
When did they change the name of Turkey to Turkey? What? You see this? Oh wait, it's not sharing. What the heck?
Turkey changed its name phonetically to how it's pronounced in Turkish.
There you go. How would you pronounce that?
Turkey.
Where'd it go?
Turkey.
So Turkey, same thing. Okay. Thanks for telling me.
Yeah,
I'm just being a stupid American.
That's how you pronounce it in Arabic. Turkey.
Like Ukraine is a big country, and Belarus is basically Russia, isn't it?
Well, Belarus is like that term I used before. They're a puppet state. Like their president works for the.
What about Latvia?
Also a puppet state. Estonia also a puppet state. Lithuania also a puppet state.
Really?
Yeah.
So then it's basically Poland that's NATO.
Mm-hmm. Slovakia.
Slovakia. I fucking got tongue tied there for a second. And Hungary, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is Hungary NATO? Let's see.
Maybe.
Yes,
I don't know.
They are.
They
yes,
are.
They are.
What about what about Romania? No, right?
Yes.
Romania. Damn.
There you go. It's right in front of you.
So listen, look. Honestly,
Norway.
Honestly, and we're part of NATO, right? We have them surrounded. We have them surrounded, and like on their other border. Technically, we have Japan on the opposite side of the country.
Serbia is not though, so like it gets shady because
by the Balkans.
Here, look. So like Poland is, but Slovakia is, Hungary is, Romania is, but Serbia is not, Bulgaria is not. This whole area is really not.
Greece is though.
Where is that? Where's Greece? Yes, I think Greece is.
And so's Turkey.
Greece, Italy, Turkey, yes, but basically they got us surrounded over there. Turkey is, and that gets. Did you?
Mike, could you move your cursor more to the right? All the way, down a little, right there. Move to the right a little bit, slightly a little bit more, right there. Eyebrows and foreheads. Well, you went too far. Far.
What country are you trying to tell me to go to?
Yeah, stop. All those countries. Now you moved it again. Right there. Stay there. There you go. In that area. Eyebrows and foreheads.
Iraq, Iran, which is basically
Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan.
No, I know, but I mean Iraq, Iran is basically Persia.
Well, that is where Persia was. Well, actually, that is Persia too. Actually, technically, like Persia was everywhere from Turkey all the way to Afghanistan, right by the Hindu Kush, I guess, was like the border, and then that was like a different civilization.
You know what's crazy? There's so many countries I've never even fucking heard of. Like I never fucking heard of.
Dude, hold on. How many countries are there in the world? Okay, 160 something, right? What is it?
I have no idea. How many?
How many sovereign countries that we recognize? Because obviously Taiwan's not recognized by China, you know, and this shit like that where we don't recognize
195.
195 sovereign nations.
Yes.
How many
what's this? I never heard of this place.
Armenia, Azerbaijan.
Georgia, what you just said.
Azerbaijan.
Never even heard of it.
You don't know any Azerbaijanis?
No, never even heard of it.
The mad Azerbaijanis in Brooklyn. Actually, you probably think a lot of them are Russian, and you just think they're Russian. But they're like a little dark. You ever see like somebody who speaks like mad Russian, but they're like Arab looking?
Yes.
Azerbaijani. Or they
makes sense.
Yeah, Azerbaijani or Georgian, but
mostly
Azerbaijani.
There's like of course Kazakhstan. Never heard of this one.
Kyrgyzstan. That's where what's her face?
Kyrgyzstan?
Kyrgyzstan. You know who's from there? Valentina Shevchenko is from Kyrgyzstan.
I just didn't think it was spelled that way, I guess. I've heard of it.
Tajikistan.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, you've heard all the stands. These are all the steppes, the Asian steppes. This is Central Asia. Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan.
And then China.
Kazakhstan, Mongolia.
I've never heard of this country. Oh, that's not a country. What is that?
No, that's
what
a state.
This? Vietnam. I always forget Vietnam goes up like that.
Vietnam.
Cambodia, Thailand.
Laos. You know about all these countries. How many countries off the top of your head do you think you could name? Don't have to name any of them. Out of the 190, what was it? 193?
195.
Out of the 195, do you think you could get at least 100?
Yes.
Yeah, I think 100's doable. Like a lot of people's like, I can't name 100 countries. It's like, yeah, you don't think you can, but you can.
Like Africa gets shady too because I know in my head Morocco and Egypt were the two top, and they took over all the space. But no, I forgot about Libya.
Yeah, Tunisia, Algeria, Niger, Chad, Sudan, North Sudan, South Sudan, Central African Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo. See, it says DRC there, Angola.
You know what? Do you ever see that movie Congo? Do you remember that movie Congo?
Yes, with the killer gorillas.
Yes.
Yeah, that was like okay. In the mid '90s, there was disaster movie. People liked disaster movies. People started getting back into them, and they had like, what the fuck was that? Like, where, all right, besides like Jurassic Park, they had like like Independence Day. Like, you know what I mean? People started getting back into it. They didn't really do that shit in the '80s so much. They did it in the '70s, and then it died out and came back in the '90s. Like, and that one was sick. Anaconda. You remember Anaconda?
Do I remember Anaconda? Of course.
Remember how John Voight looked at J-Lo in Anaconda?
Yes. It was
it's like this, like
J-Lo. Wasn't Ice Cube in it?
Ice Cube was in it. That was his first action movie, because he was doing like comedies before that. Like, he had done like Boys in the Hood. I think he was in Boys in the Hood, and then he like did like Friday, obviously, and I think like another comedy movie.
Friday's a classic.
Friday's stoner classic. It goes okay, like with stoner movies, it's like up there with the Cheech and Chongs and the fucking and the Half Baked, and you know what I mean. Like, it's up there with stoner movies. One of my favorites is definitely fucking Friday. Quotable as fuck.
I saw that when I was so young too. Yeah, quotable as fuck.
Did it make you want to smoke weed?
No, it didn't.
Really? For me, when it came out, I had maybe smoked weed for the first time.
Like hold on, 95. 95, I did not smoke weed yet, but weed in movies did not make me want to smoke weed. Like, I never really thought. It's crazy because I never really thought about it until like my friends would start smoking weed, and I was like, okay. I just never yeah.
I'll tell you what happened. I knew what weed was, and I didn't smoke it for my first time until I just had turned 14. I literally just turned 14, right? And I had already been a Wu-Tang Clan fan, and I used to love fucking Dr. Dre.
They ain't nothing to fuck with.
Okay, and all they were rapping about was smoking blunts and fucking living in the streets and shit. So I was like, oh, I didn't idolize it then, but then I smoked weed, and then I continued to listen to Wu-Tang, and then Wu-Tang made me want to smoke weed. Like, Pantera and Wu-Tang made me want to smoke pot. Like, I got cravings. And the thing is, like, yo, I'm saying, like, everybody back then was like, oh, this music is making our kids want to smoke weed. I'm like, no, it isn't. I just really like it. It was like, no, I really do like that music, and I still do to this day. I rep fucking all that shit, as you can see behind me. But what I'm saying is, like I did want to smoke a blunt and listen to 36 Chambers. I did want to smoke a blunt and listen to Vulgar Display of Power. Like, I did want to.
Now I do, but like then it never really made me want to. Like, I never had the urge to try it because of TV or movies. I just.
But Friday came out with like around the same time that I first smoked weed, and I knew it was a weed movie, but I didn't get to see it for the first time until about a year later. It came out on VHS.
I was 10 years old when Friday came out.
And I had to rent it at Blockbuster. But we rented it for the intent and purpose was to smoke and watch.
I had the illegal box, so I watched it 475 times.
I remember that.
I had the illegal box, great. so.
Yo, dude, what's the modern equivalent of having the hot box? Is it your friend's
the Fire Stick? No, the Fire Stick.
Jailbroken
Fire Stick. Yeah, man.
That's right. Yeah.
It still exists. It's just very different now.
Yeah.
But I grew up and I always had it because I grew up in my grandmother's house. And my grandfather would always he's like, I need to have it because he watched boxing, and he's like, I'm not paying for boxing matches. I'm watching it without paying. Scumbag. Anyway, but yeah, that's why I saw all the Tyson fights live, basically, because my grandfather would pay for them at one point before the box was around.
I'll tell you what, there was a window of time. If you had a pre-adolescent or adolescent boy in the house, right? I say less than 6 months, they found the porno channel.
Oh, I found it in 30 seconds. Because it was
like I didn't really watch, but the window of like 3 channels and nothing was locked. You know what I mean?
That's what I wanted to say. Like, I guess It was. I always knew it was the one channel after there was the pay-per-view channels, which were like the movie channels. Then there was like always one other one, which was just like ads for the pay-per-view channels, and the next one was the Spice Network. Spice.
Channel 69.
And like I don't think I even really watched it a lot.
Cleverly thought out what channel to make it. It was Channel 69. I thought that was clever. Before I thought I knew the term, right? In junior high school, I knew the term 69 was sexual innuendo, but I did not know that it meant flipped over oral. I thought it just meant the porno movie channel until like high school, and somebody had to I was like a retard, and they had to explain that to me.
I can't even name the 50 states.
Probably the 50. Probably,
and I live here. I can name all 50 states.
I think I can name all 50 states.
Yeah.
I think I could do it. Are we moving on to Ashton Kutcher? So now, are we on the bandwagon of he murdered that girl?
No, okay.
I mean, come on.
I forgot about that whole story, but it's okay. So after the letters of support for Danny Masterson was sent, the person by the name of
Dude, where's my alibi?
Yeah. But what's this chick's name? What's her name? Blah blah blah. Chrissy Bixler's response to Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. I don't know who she is.
She was one of the raped. She was the
was she?
Why would she be bitching at them?
Who is she though? No, she doesn't. She doesn't bitch at them. She says something very interesting. I was gonna read it, but I'm looking to see who she is first. I guess she dated him.
Like they were she's gonna rat them out, right?
Listen, you ready? You ready?
Yeah.
Dear Ashton, I know the secret your role model keeps for you. Ones that would end you. Did you forget I was there? You were on speakerphone that night. You called Danny on February 21st, 2001. I heard everything. I heard the plan. In my opinion, you're just as sick as your mentor.
Who's his mentor? See, that's what's so
very. It's very
cryptic.
Cryptic, but at the same time, it says enough to make you go. She says things in detail that make it sound real. That's the way she said
some sort of nefarious act took place.
Like what happened? Why were Danny and Ashton Kutcher talking to each other on speakerphone on February 21st? And what happened in 2001? Then she wrote to Mila Kunis. Dear Mila, I pray you begin to process what you experienced as a child on that set. Your old interviews are very telling. I encourage everyone to watch them and decide for yourselves what you hear and see. Now we got to jump into that, don't we? Now,
okay. So this now, right? Like, this is the Me 3 wave, right? This is like shit that's happening so much later. Right, because honestly, like the Bill Cosby and the Harvey Weinstein, like all that shit happened like over years, but they were a lot more recent events. And now we have Danny Masterson, which is like he was sort of like I got a little bit of a vibe like that from him from the show, but I couldn't put my fucking finger on it anyway. Not okay, and this isn't like me being like, oh well, he's guilty or he's not guilty, but like I could sort of see like
I know what you're saying, and I agree.
Going on back then, and these stories all came out, but what I mean by Me 3, it's like Me Too. It's like, oh, I just got raped. I got raped a year ago. I got raped 2 years ago.
Well, that's not entirely true because
a lot of this is 20 years ago shit.
But same thing with the Bill Cosby case. That was right. I think sometimes things get swept under a rug, and it takes a long time for them to come out. Also, the way things I don't want to sound.
Hollywood could cover a lot of shit up.
Not even that, but the standards of the world change consistently too. What was oftenly done practice will be frowned upon now. It was okay to smack your wife around a long time ago.
Right? You mean you can't do that anymore? I mean, listen.
That explains the bruises. No,
what if she's into it? What if she's into it?
There's consent in that then. That's consented.
I mean, we have a safe word.
That's called consented.
Oh, okay,
Not
okay,
consenting.
okay.
That is
All
a
right.
consension. What's the word?
So no slapping of any kind? Like, no. You can slap if it's consenting.
Consensual. Yes.
That's the key word.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm saying that anyway. So what I'm saying is, I guess back in Bill Cosby's day, it was okay to drug an actress and rape her.
I don't think it ever was. I think it was frowned upon back then. That's why it was so covered up. But the thing is, it just seemed like everybody knew about it, though. It literally seemed like everybody knew about it. But
the same thing with Harvey Weinstein. It was like everyone knew about it, and
this is why everybody knew about it.
We should not.
Hello, everybody back then was a creep too, so they all kept each other's secrets. A lot of people died before you get to find out their secrets. Elvis died before fucking Me Too. You know what I mean? You know how many people died before Me Too?
I was gonna say too, and I hope it always comes out. It keeps coming out. Screw these pieces of shit. If they're guilty, as long as they're guilty. Now back to Danny. He always gave me the creep vibe as well. But the stories, I don't know if we discussed it. It's been so long.
Creepiest cast member on the show, right?
For sure. Yes. If I'm at a party, I'm going to tell my girlfriend or whoever I'm with, stay away from that creepy guy in the corner with the sunglasses.
Topher Grace number 2. He's the second creepiest.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so what makes that whole creepy, the whole Ashton Kutcher thing creepy is how it's very like direct, and like it sounds like now we're gonna have to watch some old interviews of Mila Kunis, but the Danny Masterson. I keep saying Masterson. I don't know who the fuck Masterson is. It's Masterson.
He's well.
The stories are weird. I don't remember if we discussed it last time because it's been so long since we did the show. Did we discuss it yet or no? We did an episode about it.
We did the beginning of this, of him being sentenced, I think, and the way really coming to a head, like the trial was over. He got sentenced.
The victims and their stories.
No, because this is right when it first started, and then we, took a little bit of a hiatus. But a lot has happened since that has come, and then chain linked to this.
So I'm going to paraphrase.
There's all sorts of probably factual things that had come forward, and there's a lot of other linking conspiracy theories, right? And this is what we're going to go through.
Well, I'm going to say full disclosure that I'm going to paraphrase the stories quickly without reading them off. I'm just going to paraphrase off the top of my head, so then most of it might be wrong or incorrect, so you should do your own research, but it might be close to being accurate. So when I first read the stories, I'm going to say, I was like, this is bullshit. This sounds like they're all made up stories. Come on. And
okay, some of them seemed a little,
Now that it's settled in my brain and there's a greater conspiracy here, I 100% believe them.
I mean, they didn't sound like they were fucking
one of the stories is they went to a rap party and they wanted to continue the rap party. Yeah. So they all went back to his place. Mm-hmm. And they didn't want to drink and not go anywhere, so they decided. Did we discuss this last time or no?
No, but I heard the story though.
So they didn't want to drive because they were drunk, so they spent the night. She slept in the living room, and in the middle of the night, he came and woke her up and said, "Here, drink this real quick," and she drank that real quick and got dizzy and passed out, and then she woke up in his bedroom, had been raped, and he was sitting there smiling at her. And acting as if it was consensual, even though it wasn't. Yeah. And he continued to act like it was nothing, that it was consensual. Cut to maybe a month later, he shows up at her apartment, knocks on the door. She opens the door and he says, "Here, drink this." So she drinks it, and then she passes out again, and he rapes her.
So this is the thing, okay, now
so the first part of the story.
When I heard the story, I was like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And the thing is, you're not supposed to victim shame, but it's what? Okay, now I understand. Maybe that did happen, but
here's the thing:
if he didn't force it down her throat, he did he really just walk up to the door and standing at the door had a cup in his hand and said, "Drink this"?
Hold on, I'm gonna go further. You ready? This is all part of the conspiracy. So that story about him drugging her with a cup matches the other 4 accusers or 3 accusers or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So
I thought he had some sort of, after hearing
Now-
all of it, I thought he had some sort of Scientologist, like hypnotic fucking technique or some shit.
I was going to say
Like,
that. I'm going with that. Hold on, Ryan. So I believe those 3 women. I don't
Okay.
believe that story I just told you. I believe
Okay.
that one is an implant to try to discredit all their stories, to make it this ridiculous story that I'm an idiot and this guy who raped me, I'm gonna drink another drink that he gives me. You might as well did it 5 times at that point. Here, hey, what's up? Drink this.
They do have a crazy PR team.
So because of how crazy that story sounds, I now believe the other women, and I'm like, this guy's a creep, and Scientology's pedophiles or rapists, and
well, they're definitely like mega cult.
not all of them, of course, not everyone is a
Mega
rapist,
cult.
but 90% of the priests were touching children. So
You
let's
don't really have a lot of good stories coming out of cults. Let's just put it that way. You don't get a whole lot of good cults. Like everybody's like, well, not every cult's bad, and it's like, well, give me a good one. Give me a good one. You got a good one? Because I don't know any good ones.
So I'm going to share this one now. We're going to move on to the next thing.
Okay, so part 2 of Me 3, Russell Brand.
Full disclosure. Once again, full disclosure. No, listen, I don't doubt them at all. But some of the stories don't match the headlines they're giving.
And then them all coming out at the same time is very convenient.
They didn't.
No, I knew that they were okay. There was some stuff that had happened.
The reason why this is coming out now is because there's a documentary coming out about it.
Oh shit! Really? I didn't know about the doc.
The reporters that broke the news and contacted him for comment are making a documentary about it. That's why he wouldn't comment on it to them. So these accusers, this is old. They accused him back in the day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
In the early 2000s, and it's on record
ago.
already. It's been on record.
Yeah.
But now it's coming to light because a documentary is coming out about it. I don't doubt the stories. I don't doubt it. He's always been a slimy, womanizing pig.
Yeah, and he actually portrayed that character in movies too.
Yes. And there's always been stories about him. I don't doubt that. What I do doubt is that it's not coming out now. I do doubt the reason it's coming out now is not completely innocent. It's coming out now because he has a huge fan base and he's been basically telling the truth about the way the world is with pharmaceutical companies and special interest groups and the way the government's run.
Yeah.
And now it's the perfect time to discredit him. But
so
I don't doubt
is that the ammunition was always loaded.
Yes, it was already there. But some of the stories don't match the headlines, meaning like he's being accused of rape. Now, one of the stories of sexual assault is he was dating a 16-year-old when he was 30. When I read that, I was like, hold on. When I read that, I was like, that's fucking exactly. Hold on. When I read that at first, I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then I went further into the article. And I'm like, oh, that's legal in Britain. That's fucking creepy. Anyway, so the story about that is that he was very aggressive when they were dating, and that like one time she was going down on him and he forced her to deep throat and she didn't like it. I don't know if that qualifies as sexual assault though.
That's just sort of pushing the boundary, isn't it? Like, it's not sexual assault. It's just
I don't know if that's exactly what was said. That's the way the article said it. So her testimony could be a lot more graphic than that.
Hold on, wait. Did he keep doing it? Yeah, that's the question. Did he do it once and she goes, what? And is like, no, I don't like it. And he's like, okay, no problem. All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Or did he like, cluck, 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 cluck? And she's like, stop. No, stop. Stop. I said stop. What? Stop.
No.
Like if she had to do that, then it's like, okay, she was, after saying no, stop.
Like I said, I need to know more before I can make a full opinion about the allegations. But I only think they're coming out now is because it's the powers that be, whoever they are sick and tired of him talking shit. It's like, hey, we have this against you. We're going to use it now because you don't know how to shut your mouth.
Because he stopped being funny. That's what happened.
Yeah.
He got serious and he stopped being funny.
Well, who was it? There was a lot of people saying how like it's crazy how the viewership on the mainstream media versus Substack and Russell Brand and Joe Rogan doesn't compare. So of course the mainstream media has to do something to fight back. You know how many times I get like breaking news on my phone? I get breaking news on my phone, Joe Rogan, this and that on something. Oh, he said this and that. I was like, I watched that episode. You're misquoting him, for Christ's sake. This is stupid.
Yeah.
Like it's clearly they have a vendetta against Substacks and all of them.
This is what sort of saddens me. And I'll tell you what does. Is that I understand that not there's no perfect human being out there and everybody's flawed, right? But when you finally start to get some people who are, like looking for honesty and the truth and expose certain things, and then they have this black cloud in their past, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's looming, that can at any moment unleash a thunderstorm on their fucking hole. And right when they start saying, hey, listen, we got to look at these corporations and all this bad shit in the world and this fucking mining in West Africa and this, that, and the environment is really this way. And like, instead of going with the propaganda route, you know what I mean? Actually talking to what's the truth out there. And then this person had this major personality flaw 20 years ago that ruins all of that for all of us. And it sucks. And it totally sucks. And the thing is, like, every once in a while, you'll get somebody who's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, this person. And then this person, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes. Yeah. 100%.
This happens, dude. This happens with fucking everybody on both sides. This happens with liberal icons and it happens with conservative icons. Like, and there's always some bullshit that comes out in their past that fucking tarnishes all of it.
I am very disappointed in YouTube because YouTube, like, they purged all that conspiracy stuff. So, like, I can't find someone who put together the creepy interviews with Mila Kunis, and I'm trying to find something that would match where she said blah blah blah. So before blah 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 blah.
Wasn't YouTube everybody's main source for conspiracy theory videos? Do you remember when 9/11 truthers on YouTube was like a thing in like the
Loose Change, bro? Loose Change was the biggest 9/11 conspiracy video.
And all the Tower 7 shit, all of that was on YouTube. All of the conspiracy shit, all of the Bush administration conspiracy shit, all of that was on YouTube.
For Mila Kunis' career began with that 70s show, which she actually lied on to get the part. The reason was because she was
14.
And the producers wanted an actress who was 18, so she just lied about her age. When the producers found out Mila Kunis was only 14 after she got the part, they didn't care, saying it fit her character. Doing the show, Mila Kunis had her first kiss ever on set with her co-star Ashton Kutcher. They never dated in real life during the making of that 70s show because Ashton Kutcher was 5 years older than her. Mila Kunis would go on to date Macaulay Culkin for 8 years, and Ashton Kutcher was married to Demi Moore for 8 years. Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher didn't get together until 2014 and then got married in 2015. But when making that 90s show, the producers wanted their characters to be together. Even though Mila Kunis agreed to do it, she said she didn't agree with the producer's decision. This is because Ashton Kutcher quit that 70s show in the final season to focus on movie acting. But because that, Mila Kunis' character ended up with Wilmer Valderrama's character Fez. But Mila Kunis felt for that 90s show her character should have stayed with Fez instead of be with Ashton Kutcher for fourth wall reasons. But hey, her check to come back didn't bounce, so with that, I'm Charles Peralta, and subscribe if you learn.
That was pointless. Didn't care.
Yeah, I thought she was like, and she was the one who murdered that girl that night.
I was waiting for that. I didn't watch that before I played it. I was waiting for that too. Okay,
so can we talk about that for a second? Just like
for those who don't know, Ashton Kutcher's girlfriend at one point was murdered by a serial killer.
He was supposed to go out on a date, and there was a famous serial killer that killed her.
Yes,
like not even like some chump, like somebody who was being chased who had a name by the police. You know what I mean? When you get a name, you know what I mean? Like the Night Stalker, the Zodiac Killer. You know? Did Ted Bundy have a name? BTK had a name. That guy, the
Son of Sam Killer.
Son of Sam. You get cool, like
the Night Stalker.
I said Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. He was the creepiest of them all.
So for those who come get sharing it off the screen. What are you doing? What are you doing to me here? Hollywood Ripper gets sentenced for the 2001 murder of Ashton Kutcher's girlfriend. Wait, I don't want. Are you adding me? Are you? What are you doing?
Subscribe.
They want money. They want money.
Subscribe. So basically, from the glimpse that I got, is that so he's he's there for murdering her. So
yeah. So he was dating the girl. It wasn't their first date. They were dating.
Oh shit. And was it the story that he thought that she stood him up?
For one of the dates.
I don't think he did it.
My wife just did the Degeneration X suck it thing to me as she walked by. She testified against him.
Wow, with a mustache.
with
a mustache. Yeah, he was like.
I have a question. Is a mustache ever not creepy?
I don't know. Was I creepy? Am I creepy with my mustache?
Yeah, but you have a goatee thing. You have a whole, not goatee, but you like everything. It's just a stash.
Solo mustache.
Solo
mustache sometimes is, it could be creepy on some.
Say,
it depends
Michael
on the person's face.
Whatever. California killer who murdered a promising Los Angeles fashion student who was dating Ashton Kutcher, and also killed another woman and attempted to murder a third, has been found guilty. On Thursday, 3 days after deliberation, the U.S. jury in a high-profile case announced they found him guilty. Blah 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 blah. What?
Oh, it's such a fucking frozen picture. That time froze a whole generation. That looks like such douchey Hollywood early 2000s. It's not even funny. Like Y2K people. I was a Y2K person.
Wow. He was stalking her too. If you read some of these notes, the victim's friends also testified how I can't pronounce his fucking name. Gargulio, who lived just down the block, would show up at her house uninvited and would park outside her home at odd hours. Prosecutor believes Ellerin was. My brain is frying. Getting ready to meet Ashton and just fishing, getting out of the shower when she was attacked from behind.
And this guy just came into her house.
Yeah.
And got
her. When Kutcher realized the next morning that his date had been murdered, he said he worried during his interviews with police because he had touched the front door. My fingerprints are on this door, and I was freaking out. Interesting. I told an officer, let me tell you what happened.
I mean, hold on. If it I wouldn't have said anything only because it would be obvious my fingerprints would be on her door. I've been to her house.
Yeah, I was dating her.
We, had been dating. I've been there. It would have to be the odd. They would have dusted for prints and found the guy from up the block who doesn't know who the fuck she is, his fingerprints on the door. Then it's all right, this guy looks good for something because he looked like a fucking creep. He had an off-putting cleft palate, not an unassuming one like that Joaquin Phoenix has. This guy has an aggressive cleft palate that's all right, maybe you do trap and eat people in the desert, somewhere between Nevada and California, in the middle of the Mojave. But you know what? I don't think he did it. I don't think he murdered her, but I think
what Ashton? I don't think Ashton murdered her.
I just think there was just some weird Hollywood culture going on. And Danny Masterson just flew off the fucking handle and just became a rapist.
I want to know what happened on February 24th, 2001.
Wasn't that when that girl was killed?
I don't think so.
Did he kill somebody else? Oh, no, I don't think so. Maybe Danny Masterson, like fucking,
The top #1 song on the music charts was Shaggy's "It Wasn't Me."
Oh shit! How
the number
ironic.
the number one song in England was Limp Bizkit "Rolling." Limp Bizkit "Rolling."
Keep rolling, rolling, rolling. In England?
Yes.
So Shaggy, who's like reggae, was
Number one in America.
And in Britain, which you figure would be the most Jacksonville, Florida, fucking like new metal pop, like pop new metal, because it was pop. Like Limp Bizkit was popular. That was pop music. I'm sorry. It's not stylistically, it's not, it's new metal. You know?
What's new metal?
New metal is sort of like heavy guitars, heavy drums, heavy bass, and a little bit of hip hop.
Korn was new metal, right?
Korn was new metal. Limp Bizkit was new metal. I would say Deftones is new metal-ish, but not really, because they transcend genres several, because they're emo, they're metal, they're hardcore. Deftones has mad post-hardcore songs. I think Adrenaline is a hardcore record.
Hear me spit.
But that's like, you know what I mean? Like there were heavier songs on that album. Everything else, like I feel like Around the Fur was a new metal album. I feel like White Pony wasn't a new metal album.
White Pony is like, no, it's not post. It's like alternative almost.
Yes, but it was like they experimented with a lot of shit. You know what I mean? And then by the time they did like Diamond Eyes, like they were back to like, they were like almost like post-hardcore gent, but with the same vocals. And like it sucks. It sucks to even put genres on bands. Like they were just like really good, but they changed album to album, even though that it's them. It sounds like Deftones.
It's still exactly. You should always still sound like yourselves, but you should have changed enough and grown enough to be different, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And they were good at that shit. But you know what? Like a lot of people pin that new metal shit on like, I guess like Disturbed. Linkin Park was definitely new metal. They were the poppiest of the new metal. Like really the three biggest new metal bands are obviously Korn, Limp Bizkit, and
Disturbed, probably. Disturbed.
No, and
really?
and whatchamacallit? I just said them. Fucking Linkin Park. Linkin Park is played on Z100, dude. If they played you on Z100, you were,
I mean, they played Down with the Sickness on Z100.
This is the thing. I was like, I like because I like punk also, punk rock and shit. So like I heard about Green Day in like 1993 and 1994. They were like on like rock stations and shit. And then in 1995, they started playing them on Z100. And they were on like the alternative rock stations and the punk rock stations, but very quickly they became a pop rock band and stayed that way for years. Who?
Green Day or Offspring?
Okay. All right. If I were to take my two favorite albums from the both of them and head-to-head them, like Dookie, right, would be like Green Day's, right, magnum opus, for me at least. And then Smash by Offspring, right? Older me is going to take Smash over Dookie. But Dookie would have, in the past, when I was younger, might have taken over Smash. But I relate with Smash more now. I'm not an angsty teenager anymore. I experience road rage. You know what I mean?
Yes. I was just going to say.
There were more adult emotions in Smash than there were in Dookie.
Don't give me no crap, cause the slightest thing, and I
And I
just might
just might
snap.
snap.
Oh,
Jiggity
such a great
down.
song. Great
When I
song.
go driving, I
Driving, I
stay
stay
in
in my
lane.
lane.
Na, 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 na.
Such a
Yeah.
great song.
That and
Yeah.
that song, you don't want to drop. You don't want to put that. Okay,
I
it's
have.
not even that
It's
heavy
not
of
a
a
good.
song.
It's not a good time.
It's not even that heavy of a song. But as soon as you put that song on, there's so much energy. It's not that heavy, but there's so much energy in that song, and it's about being angry when you're driving. That even if you're the chillest, like you're just like super zen,
You're gonna
relaxed.
instantly
I'm just
angry.
gonna go drive. The weather's beautiful. I'm gonna go put windows down, roof down, or whatever. Instantly, you put that song on and you want to start breaking fucking traffic laws immediately, like for no reason. I'm gonna cut across 3 lanes with no fucking turn signal just cause. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is definitely amping. I'm sure a lot of people, dude. I want to know what the statistic is. In 1994, I think that album came out. I want to know what the statistic is amongst people who listen to rock music. How many accidents occurred while that song was playing? Right? Because they used to play it on the radio too. They used to, motherfucker is the only curse in the song, I think. You stupid, dumb shit.
Goddamn
motherfucker. Yeah, they mute or beep that on the radio, but they would play that song on the radio a lot. And back in the day, not to sound boomer with my trucker hat on, looking like Ashton Kutcher from 1999/2001. They would fucking play that shit in your car while you're driving on like the alternative rock station, not like the obscure metal station. Like you would have to be listening to like whatever the national broadcast alternative rock was. They play that song, and I want to know what the statistic is after 1995 of how many fucking. Oh, we're gonna get kicked off. You can't play that. They're gonna black us out.
Not if I keep doing that. If I keep pausing after each epic fucking riff,
Bam, bam, bam.
we'll be fine. It builds and builds and builds, and then it goes, and you're just driving and you're building. If you're sitting in traffic during this song, you're just like,
yeah.
The steering wheel is really small. Hold on, there we go. That's better.
It builds tension.
It does. It really does. I mean,
how many seconds do you think we got before they shut us down?
We're still on now.
No, if you play it straight through, eventually at some point they go. Eh.
Well, yeah, definitely. That's why I can't play it straight through, unfortunately.
How many seconds do you think we got?
But we're 13 seconds in the song and we're good. You know what's crazy? I was watching another channel I watch, and he's sitting there and he's rolling a blunt and he's playing music in the background, and he's not getting kicked off.
In the background, you have it linked.
How does he get away with it?
Because it's in the background.
Interesting.
But the thing is, like, I don't know if let's just say I have like my Bluetooth boombox, like literally right over my shoulder, right? Mm-hmm. If I were just like playing music in the background, my boom might pick it up, but it might not pick it up 100%. I might need like a separate output, but I think the direct play triggers whatever algorithm picks up what's being played in like at a copyright.
Okay, pause. Then how does like these reaction videos I watch where they literally play this link from YouTube? It's because they pause it every once in a while and talk about it instead of just play it straight through.
How long do they have? That's my question. Is it 20 seconds?
No, it's more. Sometimes it's a minute.
Yo, so go for 30 seconds. Let's play 30 seconds. Let's go for 30 seconds.
Hey man, you know I'm really okay. The gun in my hand will tell you the same.
All right, hold on. He just said the gun in my hand.
Yeah.
Did he say the gun in my hand will tell you the same?
Yeah. The
So-
gun in my hand will tell
but-
you the same.
Hey, man, you know I'm really okay. I'm okay because the gun in the hand tells
Yeah.
you.
Well, he's painting a picture. It's like, imagine you're driving, right? And you're fucking, the car's got to be from the 80s or the 70s, right? Like mad boxy, big front end, you know, like, and
Yeah.
you're like windows down, and you're probably in California because it sounds like California. And you got a fucking strap in your car, and you're aggro, and you're driving, and somebody else is keeping pace with you, and is like doing this, Mike, doing this, like.
Do you conceal carry?
Yes, I'm allowed to. I'm
No, I
legally
know
allowed
it's legal. I know that's. I
to.
wouldn't.
I'm
tell you-
within
I
my
wouldn't,
right.
I wouldn't
I'm
ask
within
you
my
if
right.
you were. Anyway, I would feel.
not
Hold
all
on.
the
I
time,
would feel.
not all the time, but just
I
the
would
world would
feel
most likely have a
in
pistol in my
general
car.
probably a lot better if I could, if that makes sense. Like I wouldn't get as angry, I think, while driving.
Nah, dude. I am
You're much
I-
calmer.
way more chill if I have a pistol in the car. I'm way more chill.
Like I remember I
I'm
went
way
out
more
to
chill.
dinner. I went out to dinner with a friend of mine in Pennsylvania, and as we're at the dinner table, and I'm like, "Hey, you got you carrying?" He's like, "Of course, I don't go anywhere without it." I'm like, "Nice." And then like Lou told a friend of his that, "Oh, we went out to dinner, and the guy had was carrying," and his friend was like, "Oh, I would be so uncomfortable after I knew that. Oh my god, that's so scary. It's dangerous and whatever." And then I'm like, "It's less scary because if someone comes in to rob us all or hurt us, he's gonna put two in his chest probably."
I look at it this way. Do you know how many times any one of us could have been sitting with somebody who's strapped?
I mean,
Anybody.
I've
At any time.
I know
At
we've
any
have.
time. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, but like, you don't like somebody shows up. You don't know. You didn't pat them down. You know what I mean? Like, and then like you know that they could be carrying, or like there could be people who could be carrying. I think right a good fucking mentality to walk through life because you get people who would be a lot less fucking froggy. It just assume everybody's strapped at all fucking times, and people would be a lot more polite. That's
Yes,
all I'm saying.
Yes.
Do you know?
100%.
Do you know
But
the
hold
most
on. There's a
polite?
reverse side of that. There's a reverse side of that too, though.
Okay.
Because if a dickhead's strapped, he's gonna think he's hot shit that he's strapped, and he's gonna be like, "Well, my strap is bigger than your strap because I'm better than you."
True. That's true at the club, right? But that's not true. Like, okay, hold
on.
You go to a gun range. Go to a gun range. The most polite fucking place on the planet. People are and these aren't your soft looking people. You know what I mean? Who frequent these places.
I went to a
Super
gun range
polite.
in Texas. And in Texas, we walk into the gun range, and my friend who's a liberal was like, "Okay, this is weird, guns." And then we order our guns, and they just give us a tray with the gun and the ammo, and go, "Here you go. Go into the room. Don't load it up until you get in the room and pick your lane, and don't point it in any other direction besides the direction you're shooting."
Obviously.
And my friend goes, "Wait, they just hand it to you? There's no instructions or anything? And what's going on?" And I'm like, "They're assuming because you're here and you're 30 years old or whatever that you know how to use a fucking gun. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. They have lessons displayed if you want a lesson, but they're assuming we know how to shoot a gun." And we had to show him. Me and my friends had to show him. He's like, "How do you guys know so much?" I'm like,
I play a lot of Call of Duty.
But then he goes, "No, that's not why."
I'm kidding.
But then he goes, "Wait, what's to stop someone from coming in here and just robbing this place and stealing all the guns?" And I go, "Look at them.
What?
There's like 5 guys here that work here, and they're all packing. They're all fucking." He goes, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, everyone has a gun that works here. Everyone."
Look, this is why, and I'll tell you why. The reason why they'll never rob a gun store like that is because it might be cheaper for them to buy weapons off the street that are dirty, right? That's number one. Number
videos
two,
of people trying.
Number two, if you break into these fucking and then you try to sell the guns with these serial numbers, you got to get rid of the serial numbers. It's
you got to drill them out. Not drill them out. You get the.
It's a whole to do, right? And if you get caught in the act, it is super fucking illegal to rob a gun store. I think you could kill like 100 grandmothers before anybody would care. As much as if you robbed a gun store, you would get more time. You would get more time probably.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not I'm not a legal expert, but what I'm saying is, like, doing that is not advised at all because number one, you try to rob a gun store while it's open. Everybody there is fucking strapped. It's a small army that works in these places.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're done. It's a wrap. And they know every fucking corner. And they're waiting for it. Dude, they're fucking waiting for it. They have the gun store because they're like, try me, motherfucker. Owning a gun store, right, is the biggest business flex because it's like, please try to break into my store. You are going to be sunned immediately. You do not rob a gun store. Your gun store is your best friend when shit hits the fan. You know what I mean?
That's when you rob the gun store. Anyway.
Oh yeah, try it then.
Zombie apocalypse. No. You go there and hey, can I buy some ammo? And then you buy the ammo, and then you wait for him to leave, and you rob it, place blind, or you wait for him to get eaten. Don't hurt the gun owner though. I'm in the store. I mean, wait for him to get eaten. You
don't check the gun store until you notice like a quiet, and then maybe you check the gun store. Because I guarantee you, even before that, it's looted. I would stay away from a gun store. I opt for stockpiling and just like hoping I never have to use all of it. You know
in reality, what you do is you execute the owner of the gun store. You steal all the guns.
You have a fucking plan? I have no plan. I don't have a plan for that.
And now you're set for life with ammo and guns. And you won't be because gun stores don't actually carry that much ammo and guns. They have a lot, but it's not enough. In reality, you don't do that. That's crazy. You never listen to me about that. But, I mean, you want to wait for a lot of people to die first before you go outside. That sounds horrible. But, you have to hunker down and wait.
That is the ultimate strategy. I'm telling you.
But the problem is, run out supply is so quick.
You're not going to want to. Yeah, you're not going to want to be outside for like 8 weeks. You're going to have to do like what people did during like the COVID lockdown.
Don't give me no crap, 'cause the slide is banging. I just might snap it. Oh! When I go driving, I stay in my lane.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
We're getting cut off. It makes me insane. Open the glove box, reach inside, gonna wreck this fucker's ride, 'cause I got a bad habit. I'm blowing away. Yeah. Got a bad habit.
This is the thing with that. If you listen to the lyrics, right, he's not talking about killing the other driver. He's talking about wrecking his ride. All he wants to do is damage this other douchebag's car. He doesn't want to. He wants to shoot the car because the person driving it loves the car so much. He doesn't want to shoot the person.
You don't shoot the car because the bullets can go through the car and into the person.
Oh yeah, but
or into the passenger.
It's still risky behavior, Mike. It's still very risky behavior.
Oh my God. Well, if you're going to do that, you got to make sure you do it to your head so you don't come back as a zombie.
In the event of a zombie apocalypse, I'm just unaliving myself. Oh, no, I mean, nah. It would be a bit of fun. In a way, okay, I'm not wishing this ever happened. And you don't wish it ever happened, but you sort of, like, if it happened.
I kind of am not wishing it happened.
You want to see how far you could fucking make it.
Nah,
because, hey, listen, Heilston, how about trying to survive in the zombie apocalypse in itself is suicide?
That doesn't work. That doesn't work.
Yeah, because eventually you're going to fucking die. You're just prolonging the inevitable, right? If you really think you're never going to survive, in itself, it is suicide. But
But it's a lot more work than just.
What if you're the 1%?
So I recently just rewatched the entire Walking Dead again, and I'm just like, the show pisses me off so much sometimes. Like, it has so much great moments.
None of that after season four, none of that would ever happen. After season 4, none of that would ever happen. After Alexandria, it's like, okay, by Alexandria, I was like, everything else after that.
They're still Alexandria. They're in Alexandria until like season 8.
No, I know, but like when they had the war with the stormtroopers and shit, like whatever. Fuck. Oh no, the skin people, the skin mask people. Like,
that's past there. That's season 10. That's season 10.
Whatever. Like, there were other fucking factions. Like, after season 4, season 5, Negan, and the two crews fighting was the only thing that was actually sellable. When that was over, everything after that made no fucking sense. Or was just so far-fetched. The other side shows were probably going in different directions to where people were like sort of set aside. Like, there were shows that they were trying to make more realistic or more like in different settings and stuff like that, which is what I wanted. They're coming out with one where fucking, I think Daryl is in fucking Europe, right? So whatever. Like, the thing is, like, it's like, yeah, but you know what? Like, that ship has sailed. Like, they really could have gotten me doing that stuff earlier instead of going the way that they did.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was watching a video of that, and it was
Nobody was left, and everybody's somewhere else. So it's like, who gives a shit?
I was watching a video, and it was like a really long YouTube video. And it was analyzing the downfall of The Walking Dead, and it basically says like they went from 12 to 15 million viewers an episode to barely 1 million, and the series finale barely hit 2 million people. So at the height of the show, it was 17 million viewers.
I was going to say 15, 17, 15, yeah. I mean,
Insane.
That sucks, dude. That sucks. You know, this is the thing. Like, this writer strike, right? So this is the thing. Like, do you think AI could have done better after season 5 for The Walking Dead?
I was watching something, and they're like, the new sequel to whatever movie is going to be 100% written by AI, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, they're doing it already.
I don't think that, though. I don't think that, because AI fucks up a lot.
Well,
like, you know, when AI did like simulated stories, it's like nothing. No, that like actually that doesn't make sense. Like that, there's like parts of it that like don't make sense. It's like, oh, it's still working things out, and I'm like, no. There is something that's not organic about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't know if it's like how we talk, like we say, like AI doesn't do that.
No.
I know. Or like this,
like us.
It's a little corny.
I'm not getting in your face if you flip me off. I'm probably laughing at you.
Well, this is what he's doing. This is his story. This is Dexter Holland's story. He lived this in LA.
What's fanfic maker? Oh, that's your fan fiction.
Hey, some people enjoy that fan fiction. Some people go places with fan fiction.
50 Shades of Grey was fan fiction. Look how far that went. That person made a fucking fortune.
You drive on my ass, you put on the gas, and your next breath is your last. Yes, I got it.
He's not trying to kill you. He's just trying to damage your car. Your last breath is your...
Oh, well, that's if you crash the car, I guess.
What do you mean? Listen. Your next breath is your last.
You ran him off the road. It wasn't the gun that killed him.
Semantics.
It It wasn't the gun. It wasn't the gun that killed him. It was he ran him off the road. He gave him a pit maneuver, and he fucking spun him around and fucking flipped his car and died. He died.
I didn't know Wicked was fan fiction.
Yeah, that's not something that was like written when the the Wizard of Oz was originally written back in the 1800s or whenever, like the early 1900s.
Yeah,
when was the Wizard of Oz written? Like,
hold on, does that mean anything that's like a remake is fan fiction? The director and writer was a fan, so they remade it.
Okay, I have an argument with that. Hold on. J.J. Abrams, right? I said this. Aside from Dave Filoni and George Lucas, right? Everything that came with the new trilogy, right? I said it is fan fiction. It is Rian Johnson and Lost guy. What's his name again? J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams.
I said that's J.J. Abrams and Lost fan fiction. That's what those movies are.
No, then technically it is because they're saying they agree with that. That's basically exactly what fan fiction is. If it's not created by the original author, then yes.
And the thing is, Dave Filoni got the blessing by George Lucas. Like George Lucas never blessed J.J. Abrams really or Rian Johnson, right? The guy who did the second one.
I don't know, but Dave Filoni he did The Mandalorian, right?
Dave Filoni did everything else besides that. Dave Filoni did Clone Wars, and this is the thing. As a Star Wars fan, this is the biggest thing that everybody has. There were people like from my generation who read all the novels, the comic books, and were into all of it, and it was all canon, right? They call it the EU now, and they say it's not canon because Disney bought blah, 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 blah. Kathleen Kennedy, this, that, the other. Dave Filoni was the last person to get the blessing by George Lucas, and Dave Filoni was brought into the Disney projects and stuff. So he did Rebels, and he did Mandalorian, the Ahsoka show, obviously, Obi-Wan Kenobi, all the TV shows, which are fucking awesome, which make sense to the original trilogy storyline, like what would happen after the original trilogy, and the prequels, right, of the early 2000s and late 90s, right? So those two are the only ones. Like everybody loves Dave Filoni shit. Everybody critiques the new 3 movies because they weren't written by the people who fucking wrote it.
All right, so hold on. You know what my favorite Star Wars movie is? Not the original 3. Not out of the original 3. Not Return, Empire, and
original, yeah.
Star Wars, yeah. It's Rogue One.
Rogue One is awesome as a standalone movie.
I like Rogue One better than all the other ones for some reason. I think
not a popular opinion either, right? It's starting to become a popular opinion now, but I've had this opinion for years. When Rogue One came out, I thought Rogue One could have been not even a Star Wars movie if you put that in World War II backdrop. You know what I mean? And made like that end of that movie.
It's that good. It's
Hiroshima,
that good.
Nagasaki, like it's that good, right?
It's that good.
You can. It was a great movie, but the best out of all the numbered movies, and only now it's like on TikTok, people are talking about how Episode 3 is the greatest Star Wars movie. And I believe Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movies, will be the best Star Wars movie of all time. It will be forever and ever and ever, right? But when Episode 3 came out, everybody shat on Hayden Christensen because Episode 2 was a little bland, right? But Episode 3 was so epic that they made all of this other material, original fucking canon material that Dave Filoni wrote, George Lucas wrote for the Clone Wars. They ended up doing the Rebels TV show, and now the Mandalorian, all this shit, all of it's blessed by fucking George Lucas. He's fucking anointing it and all that shit. And that's why people love the TV shows and hate the movies, because the movies are fan fiction given to people who probably should have done it if they were going to do it 10 or 15 years ago. J.J. Abrams should have done a new Star Wars movie when he was at the height of Lost. When he did Star Trek, he should have done Star Wars because Star Trek was fucking awesome.
It was. They were good. They were good movies.
The Chris Pine Star Treks were fucking great. Mm-hmm. They were really good. And, but by the time Disney got to it, and I don't want to say Disney ruined it, but Disney sort of dropped the ball on that. Kathleen Kennedy sort of dropped the ball on that. But with the TV shows, Jon Favreau's involved. You know what I mean? So they really have all of the blessed hands on deck. Like Jon Favreau is probably got all the blessing by George Lucas to take care of fucking Star Wars shit. And he writes a lot of that stuff too. So you got to thank those guys. All right, enough of my nerd rant. I never talk about Star Wars, I think, on the pod. I don't think ever. And I'm like the biggest Star Wars fan.
We have once or twice, but.
Yeah, I mentioned it.
Travelers are rude, such attitudes. When I show my peace, complaints see some things odd. Feel like I'm God, you stupid, dumb shit, goddamn motherfucker!
It's really not good to drive listening to this song. It just isn't.
I mean, if whoever watches this or hears this, like, if you haven't already, like, ran yourself off the road listening to this, like, this song, you, my friend, have nerves of steel because I definitely, like, this song's on. Eventually, within 30 seconds of the song, people are honking at me. Like, at least somebody's trying to acknowledge my reckless driving. Do you know what? Everybody's like, don't drink and drive. Don't listen to Bad Habit and drive. Might be better advice.
I think, by the way, I don't know if you saw one of the episodes of the Joe Rogan podcast where he said, I think he did damage to the election by saying this, by the way. He said he would rather have Gavin Newsom run instead of Biden because he fits what they need better.
Okay. In his defense,
hold on. It doesn't matter. Hold on. Listen. And now
that's what they want, and it's disgusting.
Yes. But every you know how many articles are talking about it now? Now within every newspaper I see, not newspaper anymore. There's no newspapers. There are, but it's not every news thing I see on Facebook or wherever from an actual news source is talking about it. Yeah. Like I just got breaking news on my phone. Joe Rogan. Hold on. Where'd it go? Oh, I lost it. I just had you. It's basically was saying that he's saying that that's what I can't talk, but there's so many news articles about it, and now
yes.
It's
and I get it. I get it, and I'll tell you this, right? In reality, look at the comparison, right? It's like, okay, right now, no matter how much you want to argue it, like Trump is the front runner with all the indictments and everything, right? Okay, so he's a front runner, and it's like, well, if Biden doesn't do it, you're gonna have to have another like figurehead kind of fucking Democratic, like
also
and you get the pretty boy from fucking California, who is just as much of hold on. You have Trump being like the worst kind of douche on the capitalist fucking douchery side. Gavin Newsom is the liberal dickhead. He is also a douche. He is a douche as well. He's very douchey, and he doesn't care. Because he showed that during COVID that he doesn't give a fucking shit because he was having parties. He was partying when he was telling the whole state to lock the fuck down.
When he was putting businesses out of business because you told them to lock down, you were out partying with your rich buddies.
Now, right? Maybe so. He said, want to run. So the thing is, Gavin Newsom will not win a presidency. Joe Rogan saying that he's saying like if somebody's gonna be a Democratic frontrunner, it should be him because it's the only one, as far as I'm concerned, which would make sense to have standing any sort of a shot.
I think he beats Trump.
I think he beats Trump. If Gavin Newsom becomes president, there will be fucking problems.
There's too many blue no matter who people. There just isn't. There's too many of them.
No, you know what? I don't know. He's too much of a fucking white boy.
It's Trump. They're not gonna let Trump back in office.
No, I don't think that either. But the thing is, I don't think Gavin Newsom runs for president.
You don't think so?
Nope.
You think Biden's gonna go again?
I think there's a likely chance he does not. I think there is a slim chance he does. But I think there is a greater chance he doesn't. But I don't think it's Gavin Newsom who is nominated by the DNC.
Do you believe in the conspiracy that it's going to be Michelle Obama?
Do you know what's fucking crazy? Is that it's going to be something like that. Like, you're going to be like, no, there's no way. They want somebody who's completely untainted. Gavin Newsom is tainted. There's too much bullshit. If they're going to be like, listen, DNC's going to be like, we're going to have to run a serious background check on your ass. And they're going to be like, all right, dude, you obviously have a lot of fucked up shit. None of this can come up. So we cannot run you. Somebody else will be ready.
If Trump's smart enough to do a smear campaign on that. Well, no, because during debates, Trump will destroy. Oh, my God. Trump, that's the thing. Trump is he's a New Yorker. He's a great bullshit artist. And like, he will dismantle Gavin Newsom in a debate. To this day, everyone knows Trump.
Not even on principles, just on douchebaggery. He will out-douche him.
Yes.
He will throw his fat douche ass around like a sumo wrestler and out-douche him.
The only reason why Trump got elected the first time is because he told Hillary Clinton, because if I was president, you'd be in jail.
I won in the election. And that's fucked
that's
up.
Why he won the election.
It's fucked up. But
it really is.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
But that's how it's done. It's a slugfest. That's what it turned into. It's not really about debating real issues. Like, nobody really resolves anything.
Years before that, or a year before that, there was on one of the betting websites, bet Donald Trump winning the presidency that year. Or
in 2016.
Yes, 2016.
Yeah.
And the odds were like 1 in 3,000. And I'm like, no, 1 in 300,000, 1 in 30,000, like some ridiculous number.
That might have been a prop bet for a while because he did like try running, I think, a couple of times.
Yes.
Yes. Guess what? As a Democrat, like not as a Republican, as a Democrat. And that was like a Vegas prop bet. Just
when he won, I looked at Lou and I was like, Lou, if you put $1,000 on that bet, how much would you have won? And he's like, $3 million. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man,
dude,
ridiculous odds.
They didn't even think, honestly. People didn't even think in 2016, if you can remember, and that's, we're talking about 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still talking about this shit. Just imagine if you're talking about somebody for 7 years. And I understand Bush was president for 8, and we were talking about Bush for 8 years. And even for like a year after, like when Obama was president, everybody was talking about Obama. It was Obama for like 2 years until shit didn't really get better. Like, and by 2010, everybody was out of work. So like the Obama craze sort of fizzled out, right? And then the healthcare thing fucked up, and everybody got pissed off about that. He got elected again anyway. But nobody was like Obama for 8 years. These last 4 years, nobody really ragged about him.
What happened with the whole Obamacare gang fucked up is I was working at a studio, not making a lot of money, like maybe $500-600 a week, and they didn't offer insurance. So I had to go through Obamacare to get insurance. They wanted to charge me $375 a month, and I was like, I can't even afford $375 a month. That's ridiculous. So I didn't get their insurance.
affordable.
So I didn't get their insurance, but at the end of the year, when you do your tax return, there's a 1% penalty on your taxes for not having insurance through Obamacare. So they were forcing you to have insurance, and if you didn't have insurance, there's a penalty involved. When Trump got elected and he started
He
fucking
got
with
rid of it.
Obamacare,
Yeah.
the Democrats like, oh my God, he's gonna get rid of Obamacare, and he's like, I'm not getting rid of anything. I'm getting rid of the penalties. And they're like, oh, it's gonna destroy Obamacare because there's gonna be no funding for Obamacare. No, you can't give someone the government can't force you to buy a product from them.
And you're
And that's what
targeting
they're
poor
doing.
people. And you're targeting poor
Yes.
people. To pay to presumably pay for the middle class that's dwindling. That doesn't exist anymore practically. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
So yeah, I mean, listen. They when they think these things out, I think most of them are for temporary, and if it sticks, it sticks. And I think things like Social Security were thought, and for a very long time, because it actually made sense, probably for like the first like 3 decades, everything was looking good. But then by the 70s, by the time shit started looking grim for a little while with the economy, that people started getting worried that Social Security was going to be like, and then since the 70s, everybody's living like, there's going to be no more Social Security. There's going to be no more Social Security. But it's still around. You still get a number. You still pay into it. You still have to do all this shit, right? Blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things that everybody thinks is just going to go away, but doesn't really, and maybe lingers around for a while. And are we going to be able to see the benefits of Social Security by the time we're in? Now it's like 70s. Like, and that's presuming we live to 70, or by the time we are in our 70s, that it's going to be the age. Because by that time, they might be pushing it up to like 82. It might be you can't collect Social Security until you're 82 years old. So that means you're going to have to work until you're 80 fucking 2 years old.
I was laughing at that because I'm like, they're not hiding it anymore that they don't give a fuck about us. They're just not hiding it anymore. Like I said, you know, before they raised it, right? Before they raised it, this was like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I was like, you know, what would make sense if they lowered the age of Social Security so you don't retire then die. You can retire then enjoy yourself for 20 years before you get sick and bedridden. And then I'm like, and now they're raising the age. It's like, no, you fucking idiots.
I mean, listen, you know, like I think they go with it, which I think it's cool. It's a cool statistic that the life expectancy has gone up over the last 100 years, this, that, and the other. But they said since 2020, it actually took a dip between 2020 and 2022. Like humans' life expectancy has gone down.
It went down, and people are dying of cancer. A lot of young people are dying of cancer.
They're saying, yes, the age of cancer showing up in people has gotten
dropped.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yes. So it used to be like the median age where cancer would develop, people would be like, you got to get screened in like your 50s. Now it's like, you should probably, if it's in your family, get screened in your 30s or earlier, or in your 20s, especially if it's in your family.
Well,
Like
on that note of cancer screening, everyone get your assholes checked for cancer, and it's very important.
And in the mouth too, and the endoscopy, colonoscopy, and the endoscopy.
Yes, everyone get a camera down your throat and up your ass, you know, just to check your for cancer. And always, you got cancer's bad, and I don't know what to say anymore about cancer.
Okay, just
next
make
episode,
sure you get yourself checked.
Cancer's bad.
All right, so are we back on Wednesdays and Sundays? 9:30. Okay. Just
next
make sure
episode,
you get yourself checked.
Cancer's bad. We will be back.
So are we back on Wednesdays and
Sundays?
9:30.
9:30.
Next
Make sure you
episode,
get yourself-
chances bad.
We will
All
be
right,
back.
so we'll be
COVID
back on
sucks.
Wednesdays and
Wednesdays
Sundays.
and Sundays.
At 9:30.
Horrible.
Okay.
9:30.
Eye boogers.
Next
Next
episode,
episode,
really bad.
chances bad.
It's
We will
all
be
right,
back.
so
My
we'll be
COVID
back
sucks.
on Wednesdays
And
and
Wednesdays
Sundays.
and Sundays.
Horrible.
9:30.
Horrible.
I don't
Okay.
eye boogers.
Next
Next episode,
Really
chances
bad.
bad.
We will be back. My
All right,
COVID
so-
sucks.